Hello everybody in Acting Theory and Practice 1. It's Jane here. I'm very pleased to say hello to you, and I'm very much looking forward to getting to know you in the next few weeks and for the rest of the semester. So, in this little video, I want to talk to you about two things. The first is your first assessment, which is the hot seating and your character observation. The second is about alternative assessment for the rest of the semester for people who will be unable to join the intensive assessment that we'll be doing at the end of semester 2 exam period. First of all, on to hot seating. So, Laura and I have been talking about this. Now, you will know that in the unit guide originally there was just 1 week put aside for assessment for this. But Laura and I think it's really important that you have the time to explore this exercise and that you also don't feel that you're being rushed. So, this is what we're going to do. Next Monday and Tuesday and the following Tuesday, we are going to be holding sessions where we will, as groups, look at your hot seating and character observation. So that's Monday the 21st, Tuesday the 22nd, and Tuesday the 28th, because the university observes Anzac Day, so that's a holiday for everybody. So this is what we'll do. During your class times, next Monday and Tuesday, we will be assessing part of the cohort. In the first half hour of all the classes, we'll have a warm-up with Laura and with me. And then after that half hour, we'll split into different groups. I will be taking one section, Laura will be taking the other, and together in our groups, we'll hot seat. So that means that there'll be about 10 people in each group, 10 people with Laura, 10 people with me, give or take the odd bod. On the Tuesday the 28th, this is what we're going to do. And this is to capture the people who would ordinarily be in Monday the 27th, Anzac Day. So, the normal class time for the Tuesday session will remain, and people who are enrolled in that Tuesday class will do their assessment during that Tuesday class. I will also send round a Google sheet with times for people who are in the Monday class to sign up to. Those blocks will be, again, 2 hours. And it will be the same format, half an hour of warming up and relaxing, and then an hour and a half with either me or with Laura to go through your assessment tasks. If this feels a little confusing right now, don't worry, I'll write down some instructions as well so you'll have them. But basically, this is the thing to remember. Next week, we will stick to the normal class times, and in those normal class times, we will assess about half of each class. The following week, we do not have Monday classes because of Anzac Day, but on the Tuesday class will stick to its normal timetable time, and I will also put in other slots for people who are usually in the Monday classes. Now, for anybody in the Monday classes who, because of their timetable issues, can't sign up to one of the extra slots on the Tuesday, you just contact me and I will do an individual assessment. I want us now to talk about what this assessment actually is. Now, I love hot seating and I love character observation. This comes out of 30 years as a professional actor, and it's one of the great joys of putting together your characterization. Because the whole thing about character obs and hot seating is that you lose yourself. You don't have to worry about the experience because you are not talking, your character is. So I want to set up this scenario. We've all had half an hour of warm-ups and games and stuff like that. We're all feeling relaxed. And then I'll call on Joe Bloggs in the class and I'll say, okay, get into character. Now that student will then spend a minute or so thinking about the character. All of those things that student has written down, all of the backstory that they've come up with, that will now start to filter through their heads. And we'll start asking questions. And those questions might be really easy, or they might make you think a bit more. But the key is, the more questions we ask, the less you'll have to think, because your character will start to speak. So for instance, right now, think about your character. Start to spend some time mulling over them, how they walk, what their family is like, what they do for a living, what they like, dislike, all of those things that you've observed. Think about that character. Now go into that character. You are no longer yourself. You are now that character. So now a few questions for you. What did you have for breakfast? Not you, the student. You, the character. What did you have for breakfast? What colour underpants are you wearing? I want you to go into your bedroom. I want you to see that book. You see that book there on the table just by your bedside? Open that up. Put your finger on the first word that you see. What is it? Now, those questions, they might now seem that you're having to think through. I don't know, what's the book? What book would it be? What's that first word? But you don't do that. You don't think. You just let it be. You allow yourself to be in the moment. So if you're wondering what that actually means, here's a little exercise for you. Close your eyes right now. Don't feel funny about this. Just close your eyes. Go into your character. You're in your character. You're walking into the kitchen. You're pulling open the drawer with the cutlery. You're putting your right index finger right the way down the side of the drawer into the very corner, the bottom corner on the left-hand side, and you're just scratching there. And what do you feel under your fingernails? Now, that's a very simple exercise. But if you closed your eyes and you put yourself into your character and you did that exercise, you might have said, I can feel grainy bits. I can feel something rough and grainy. Did that happen to you? Well, for some of you it will. For some of you it won't, because you're not yet feeling comfortable enough to use your imagination. But those are the sort of questions that we ask in hot seating. Not that you have to know everything about your character, but to realise that your character is coming from you. You are just a vessel for your character. So you don't have to think, you don't have to worry. And that's really crucial in this exercise, because if you are self-censoring, if you're thinking to yourself, I'm not very good, I don't know what I'm doing, then your character cannot speak through you because you are putting up a barrier. So allow yourself to be open. And it's the two things that you've already discussed with Laura. It's the circle of attention, that you are enabling yourself to sit there and just allow the character to come through because you're concentrating in nothing but that moment. And it's the given circumstances, that you've thought about your character, who your character is. And so once you've thought about the given circumstances, you don't have to do anything. It just happens. So basically, this is a great exercise. It's a lot of fun. Do not worry about it at all. It just happens. That's the wonderful thing about it. So that's your assessment for your hot seating stroke character observation. Now on to your final assessment. So, as you will have heard from my messages to you, we have been given permission by the faculty to have an intensive period of rehearsal and assessment after the exam period in semester 2. So that's what would have happened for the last 3 weeks of this semester if we could have live face-to-face classes. You join together with the third year directors, you work on a scene, I come in with you, I work on the scene together with you, and ultimately you are assessed on how you respond to your director, and your director is assessed on how they work with you to make the scene coherent. But we are not expecting fully polished performances or wonderful scenes. It's just not possible in the time. Some of you, I know, are not able to do that assessment because you're leaving Monash at the end of semester 1. So for those people, what I will do is have individual sessions with you, 5 minutes each person, and we will look at a few lines of a scene, well, actually of a monologue that you've already worked on. I will hand out the monologues. There'll be about a choice of maybe 3 or 4 monologues from which you can choose. Those monologues come from plays which I will have expected you to have read, so you know the context, and I will have expected you to have learnt maybe, 3 minutes of dialogue or of speech, and I'll work with you on that. So again, it's work in progress. I want to see how you respond to suggestions and direction. I don't expect it to be a fully polished performance. A couple of things you'll have to do, just as you would have to do in the end of semester assessment. You'll have to be off book. That means you know your lines. And you'll have to be responsive to my suggestions as a director. Because it's a bit difficult to collate how many people will have to do this alternative assessment, I'm going to send round a Google spreadsheet to everybody, and you simply put your full name and your student ID and your Monash email down on this spreadsheet, and then I will contact you individually to work out a time for when we can do this alternative assessment at the end of semester 1. That will be in week 12. So I hope that's clear to everybody. Just to reiterate the two things, next Monday and Tuesday, and then Tuesday the 28th, we will be doing our hot seating character observation assessment. After that, I'll be working with you on Shakespeare. And after that, we'll have a couple of weeks while I'll work with you to round up some of the issues and tasks that we've dealt with in this semester, particularly going back to Stanislavski and looking at units and objectives and actioning. At the end of semester 1 in week 12, for those of you who have to leave Monash at the end of semester 1, we will do the alternative assessment. For everybody else who's going to be here in semester 2, we will have the intensive assessment after the exam period of semester 2. Final thing I want to say. Now, because Laura has been taking the first part of this unit, I've actually been simultaneously teaching the directing unit, so I haven't been around. So because Laura has been taking it, you don't know me from a bar of soap, and I quite understand that some of you might feel a bit apprehensive about working with me when we haven't had much contact before. Please don't. One of the things about me having been an actor for 30 years and also having been a teacher of acting for almost 20 years is I know how intimidating it can be. And there's nobody who's more on your side than I am. So don't be scared. I'm right there with you and for you. Second thing to say is this can be a really hard time for you. We're going through such weird circumstances right now. So please feel free to contact me if you have any issues or worries. You will have seen that I've sent round another Moodle message about my open drop-in sessions on a Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Well, that's there for you, but also I am for one-to-one consultations and really just chats. So I will look forward very much to seeing you, unfortunately not live, but at least through the wonders of technology next Monday, Tuesday, and the following Tuesday, and actually for all the weeks after that. Take care, stay well, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.